Coming up tonight on Primetime Local News, an NDP shadow minister discusses healthcare challenges in Lloydminster, plus a public art proposal for Mural Festival came to City Council. And on this week's edition of What's Happening, we look at a pottery sale, a youth play, and some live music. All that and more coming up tonight.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Lane Hoffert and thanks for joining me. A Sask NDP shadow minister made a stop in the Lloydminster Hospital as part of her tour discussing the lack of healthcare support from the Saskatchewan Party. I found out more information on the scale of healthcare-related closures throughout the province. Shadow Minister for Rural and Remote Health Mira Conway gave a presentation in Lloyd about the ongoing healthcare crisis in Saskatchewan. She stated the NDP will fight to address concerns coming out of Lloydminster, including service closures to CT scanners, as well as the lack of long-term care beds in the city.
We are in the midst of a healthcare crisis. We've seen service closures to maternity wards, to ER rooms, to diagnostics, to CT scanners, as you know all too well here in Lloyd. People are being forced to travel further and wait longer for basic health care.
Conway presented data showing the scale of closures Saskatchewan has experienced since the summer of 2019. Maternity wards as well as emergency and acute care services have faced widespread closures throughout the province.
The FOI data shows that province-wide between August 2019 and May 2025, obstetric wards in this province have been closed over 500 days. When you look at emergency rooms and acute care services, that number jumps to 4,000 days of closures. Too many are going without a family doctor, as we know, and we have a primary care crisis and a long-term care crisis as well.
Conway has given a letter to the Minister of Health containing 32 ideas she has heard on her tour that will help to improve healthcare services in the province. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News. Lloydminster is taking the steps to bring a new event to the border city, Mural Festival. Submitted by the Public Art Advisory Committee, the idea is to have nearly 20 concrete parking barriers painted by various artists in Lloydminster.
I think this is an opportunity that we can beautify our city. It's certainly going to be at Bud Miller Park. We heard that there's some benefits there with some existing issues around protecting the power box and things like that, while displaying art. And art can be displayed anywhere in the city, as we know, from buildings to just simply walking down a walking trail.
The Art Committee has been in the works for this event since November of 2024, and now they are requesting 6 additional parking barriers.
Council will see this as an actual formal request now, I would suspect, coming forward asking for $7,500 to be allocated from a fund that they have to, we have to allocate that from Council's chair and as a form of a motion, an approved motion. So that will likely come back at the next meeting, I suspect, to get this project underway. If that's where it goes and if Council approves it, then that's where it will go.
Lloydminster's goal is to host Mural Festival sometime this year. An annual pottery sale is planned for this weekend, and there's a chance to see a Disney classic on stage as well. I have more in this week's edition of What's Happening. This Sunday, head down to the Lloydminster Museum and Archives for their Potters Guild Spring Sale. Should be a nice time with a lot of cool pottery, and admission is free. It'll run from 10 to 3, and you'll get to meet the people behind all the cool pottery. Tomorrow, the Vic Juba will be presenting Cinderella Youth Edition. For $28, you can see the classic tale that everyone knows and loves in a fun, family-friendly way. It's sure to be a great time for everyone. If you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, why not head down to Cheers Live for Justin Sutton and North of 49. It's sure to be great music and a great atmosphere. Tickets are $20 right now, and they'll be $25 at the door. Doors open at 8 p.m., and it's sure to be a fun time. Whatever you do this weekend, be sure to stay safe and have fun.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
A tribute album is being released next month for the iconic Canadian rock band Triumph. Stacey Comer has more on the music and some exciting performing plans in the band's future.
Well, being released next month is an all-star tribute to Triumph, Magic Power. And I'm so excited to be joined today by Gil Moore from Triumph. Gil, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, hi, Stacey. It's great to be here.
Well, let's talk about this album. It's amazing. There are some really incredible people who are singing the songs of Triumph. Did you have involvement with who was going to be singing and which song? Or was this kind of all done and then said, here, Gil, I hope you enjoy?
More like that. I mean, Mike Klink, the producer extraordinaire that actually was the captain of the ship here, put the album together. He connected all the musicians and so on. He did ask us, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of that? And he played us, rough mixes. But of course, all the people that he selected, they were all great musicians, like top players and top singers, and famous in their own right. So, it was like it's very, what's not to like? It was just great, actually. The fact that all these folks would jump in and play the songs and do this was just an amazingly humbling experience, really, for us and as Triumph.
Well, some of the names that we have performing, there's Nancy Wilson, Sebastian Bach, Phil X, Mickey Thomas, the list just goes on. So, and Dee Snider, he's come out and he's just talked about how so excited he was to play on this album. So you've had a chance to listen to some of these songs, I'm guessing by now. Did they do it justice?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a blend of, in some cases, a really original take, like you mentioned, Nancy Wilson, like the way she did Fight the Good Fight. I mean, she really made it her own song in a beautiful way with her, kind of her floating style of her singing, which I love. And, when Dee, for example, or Sebastian singing, Rock and Roll Machine or Lay It on the Line, the two they did. Dee did a very aggressive vocal and a great vocal on Lay It on the Line, and Sebastian just killed Rock and Roll Machine. But I could go on. I mean, Dean Castronovo of Journey. I mean, I don't know that there's no singing drummer on the planet Earth that is as talented as Dean Castronovo. And Never Surrender was his song. It's very, very difficult to sing. That's one of Rick's vocals and one of the very, very high ones. It's very, very hard for anyone to sing that. Lawrence Gowan did a beautiful job on Somebody's Out There, for example, and another one of Rick's vocals. So just all the way down the line, it's been one big surprise after another, to be honest, for us in Triumph. Just really amazing.
Now, you guys have been around for a long time, and a lot of the people who played on the album said that they were influenced by your music. What does that mean to you to hear that to some of these guys that are still out and still performing as well as yourselves? What does that mean? As starting the band, I guess about 50 years ago, and getting to where you are now. How do you feel about hearing that?
It's amazing. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine, to be honest, because I'm still relating back to being a kid that wanted to get a set of drums and mowing grass and stuff to save up the money, and then hanging around other bands and following them to try to learn. So you think back in your own life, you go to the influences, and when I realized how great John Bonham was, or Ian Pace and Deep Purple, these kinds of players, Mitch Mitchell and Jimi Hendrix Experience, or the great Buddy Rich, the greatest of all time. That's when I think of influences. When I think of somebody being influenced by us, it's like, well, how's that possible? Because I'm still looking up to these guys. So it's amazing to hear that we, if we had an influence on some of the musicians that are on the album, it's a wonderful thing, but it's not something we would have ever expected.
A lot of people talk about how music has memories for them and they attach certain points in their life to it. And I'm guessing your fans tell you that all the time too. Just they've heard this song, or this was our song, or, this brings me back to a great time in my life. It must feel so good that you've been a part of people's lives for so long and have been able to create those happy times or get them through the tough times with some of your music.
Yeah, we're getting more and more of the stories, every day. It never stops. And a lot of it is about the tough times. I mean, I think that's when the therapeutic value of music really, is in a special place in people's lives. And, you see so many people, and I've met so many people that have had a really tough go with a medical condition or a death in the family or some tragedy. And a lot of times, there's a tattoo with one of our lyrics, and it really kind of proof positive how impactful the song was, or the lyric within the song was. It makes you realize, when you're starting out as a rock and roll band, you're young guys and you're all out there just to, try to gain an audience, and you really can't think forward decades into thinking about influencing people's lives in any way or whatever. You're just trying to gain an audience and be accepted. So it's pretty it's a heavy thing actually to get to this stage and think that the music perhaps had more weight to it, than more value to it, than we would have ascribed to it as young guys playing rock and roll.
Would there be any plans, Gil, to do a concert of some sort, or maybe, record a television special with some of the people who did the tribute, or, tour a few cities? Is that something that's been discussed, or are you just going to let the album come out and enjoy?
We've been working with our lighting director, Paul Dexter, who is really, really a genius in lighting. And we've been looking at Paul was instrumental in the development of holographic technology and so on, and he was one of the prime sort of experimenting in that area was one of his fortes, I'll say. And so we've worked on a mixed reality concept that we haven't fully deployed yet, but it's in the back room. We're working on it. And the idea would be something that's completely different than any of the hologram stuff that's been done before, completely different than, say, what ABBA has in London. This would be a touring entity, and it would be the first 6-piece power trio. So we would have, 3 guys that are really, really at the top of the game playing the instruments, but we would have the original band members virtually within the show. So it's not something I could promise. I can promise we're working on it. And we're very excited about it, and we're going to continue because it is experimental. It's hard to say, no wine before it's time, but we're hoping later this year, perhaps, or perhaps in 2026 as part of a 50th anniversary.
Well, Gil, that is exciting and something for us to look forward to. And of course, the album, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And once again, the tribute album to Triumph Magic Power coming out here. I believe it's the 6th of June. And just again, so many musicians on here that are paying tribute to the amazing songs of Triumph. And I know you're a busy guy, but I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today, and really look forward to everybody getting to hear this album.
Thanks so much, Stacy. It's been great talking to you.
We'll have more news after a look at your closing market.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for over the week, you can see tomorrow we have quite a warm day. It's getting up to plus 30. That's the first day at 30 all year. It'll be a sunny and very warm day, of course. No clouds. And then on Sunday, it's going to cool down quite a bit. It'll get to 13 and an 84% chance of a few showers, which is sure to maybe make it feel a bit nicer after having that plus 30 day. And then it'll be pretty consistent throughout the next week, ranging from about 16 to 24 temperature-wise. And it looks like it'll be a bunch of sunny days with a few clouds coming in here and there throughout the week. We got high of 16 on Monday, and then 20 on Tuesday, 24 on Wednesday, 22 on Thursday, and 18 on Friday. That's all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. I'm Lane Hoffert, and thanks for joining me.